Bienvenidos a EO Impact Drivers, el podcast de EO Puerto Rico. Este año nuestro enfoque es claro: make it personal, make it purposeful, and make it matter. En cada episodio exploramos historias que inspiran liderazgo, innovación y propósito. Soy Ilianetsie Vargas, vicepresidenta ejecutiva de LS Innovative Education Center. ¿Y me acompaña?
Y yo, Pedro Nieves, Managing Partner de Vidal, Nieves y Bausa.
Juntos seremos anfitriones en este espacio donde los emprendedores se conectan, aprenden y lideran con impacto.
Today we're joined by Selena Soo, a leading voice in visibility and relationship building for entrepreneurs. Selena Soo is a publicity and marketing strategist for entrepreneurs, experts, and authors who want to impact millions with their message. She's helped clients and students get features in places like O, the Oprah Magazine, Forbes, and Inc., and land interviews in popular podcasts and national TV. Many of Selena's clients have become industry leaders with 6- and 7-figure businesses, raving fan bases, and hundreds of thousands of followers. Now, let's impact with today's conversation.
Nice. Welcome, Selena.
Thank you for having me.
Nice. So our first question is, Selena, let's start with a fundamental question.
Yes.
How do you define a rich relationship and what make it different from a casual network?
Such a good question. So a rich relationship is one that massively enriches the quality of your business and life. And so rich relationships are different from casual connections in that they have 3 primary characteristics. So number 1, your rich relationships will actually be directly connected to what your biggest goals and dreams are. And these individuals, they want to see you win. They want to support you. The second thing is the rich relationships have a quality of abundance to them. They actually help you make more money in your business. So it could be direct as someone that maybe is a client or a referral partner or a super connector or a promoter, but it could even be a confidant, someone who supports you through the messy ups and downs of your business and helps you get your confidence back. So rich relationships are expansive. And then last but not least, a rich relationship is going to inspire you to become the best version of yourself. So there are people in your life that help you think bigger, play bigger, that you feel confident and good around. So if there's a relationship where even if they're influential, even if they're rich, but if you don't feel like they support you, they don't want to see you win, or maybe you don't feel good in their energy, that's not what I would call a rich relationship. Yeah.
Nice.
That's a great concept. And in fact, your book, Rich Relationships, outlines the 5 types of people every entrepreneur needs: mentors, peers, promoters, team, and confidants.
Yeah.
Why are each of those essential for business and personal growth?
Yeah, I mean, every relationship plays a different role, and we need diverse people around us to help us succeed. So a mentor is important because the reality is there's other people that have achieved the thing that we're looking to achieve. And so if someone can show you the shortcuts, it's going to save you a lot of time and heartache. And then peers, which is, what EO is all about, a peer group, it's so rewarding to have other people who are on the journey with us, where we can share stories and support each other. Then there's team members. A lot of times people think of rich relationships as someone that's far away outside of themselves. But sometimes the people who are closest to you, your team members, they really have the ability to make your business or break your business.
And on that type of like the teams.
Yes.
Could you go talk to what is your recommendation going for your team? We have a lot of people that work for us. So what kind of relationship, it's more personal or more business-wise, of what kind of rich relationship you think you can have with
I think with team members, I mean, I hear different people say different things like, oh, my team members are my friends, my team members are like family, or my team, it's more of a professional relationship. I think at the end of the day, I think it's ultimately a business relationship, right? So in the book, I talk about dual relationships. So some people can play multiple roles. Like, for example, I have a best friend, but I'm also an advisor in her business, and she's a client in mine. And despite all the different roles we play, at the end of the day, the role of best friend is the number 1 role. And then the other things are secondary. So I think if you're hiring and paying someone to be on your team, the number 1 role is the professional role. And then there could be other layers too. But rarely do you want to have the secondary roles take precedent, because otherwise it's just out of sorts, right? So that's with the team members. And then you're also going to want to have promoters in your business. So promoters are people who spread the message, who let other people know about your important work. This could be a referral partner. This could be someone that has a podcast, but somebody who's amplifying what you're doing in the world. And then last but not least, super connectors, because we all need to have other people that can help us connect the dots. If you say to a super connector, I need to find a great lawyer, a great accountant, a consultant, they're going to be able to make those connections. And so I say, like, knowing one super connector is like knowing 100 people. It just really collapses time.
I have a question about rich relationships, and being that you're an expert on the matter. Which of the different ones, peers, team members, mentors, which one you will say is like the most difficult to establish? The one that an entrepreneur that is willing or wanting to grow his business will need more, based on your experience? I know it's...
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I think it depends on what stage of business you're in. You know, in certain stages, like you need certain relationships more. If you're getting started, you really need a mentor. But then, you know, later when you're established and you have your foundations down, you need people to know about you, then you need more like promoters, right? I think the one that people have the hardest time with is finding people that can help promote their business. I think a lot of people know people, you know, we're friends, we're colleagues, but they don't know how to turn it into a rich relationship where this person could actually drive business to me, you know, so getting someone to actually take an action to support you, I think is harder for most people.
Let's talk about the 6 circles of connection. That's very interesting.
My favorite.
Yeah. Oh, how can entrepreneurs map and manage those relationships more intentionally?
Yeah, absolutely. So as an entrepreneur, the reality is you don't have a lot of time. You have your team members, you have your clients that you're serving. You're looking to, you know, also connect with your peers and build your, you know, promoters and partners. And so you have to manage your time wisely. And then you also have your family and friends, right? So we have to be intentional with where we put our energy. Otherwise, we're going to burn out. And a lot of people say, well, I just don't have the time. It feels so draining.
That's
and
the
so
most used phrase on entrepreneurship. We don't have time.
We don't have time. Yeah. So you really want to focus on those relationships that energize you. And not everybody should have the same level of proximity and access to you, right? And trust. So when you think about the 6 circles, we're going to begin with circle 1. That is your innermost circle. There's typically 1 to 3 people in this circle. Sometimes there's 0. So these are people that are doing life with you. You're in touch with them, whether it's daily or weekly, but they also have the characteristics of you feel safe with them. You can open up with them. You can share your ups and your downs. And no matter what's happening, they're going to be there for you. You can always count on them. That's your circle 1, but they do have to be supportive, right? So for some people, potentially their life partner could be a circle 1 relationship. It could be, you know, a family member. It might be a business partner. It could be a therapist that you talk to weekly, but only a small number of people will really be that circle 1. Then you have circle 2. So it's very similar in quality in that you feel like my circle 2, my treasured connections, I can count on them. If I text them and say, hey, I need your help. Can you talk tonight? Even if they're busy, even if generally they would say no to everyone else, they're going to say yes to you because you're a priority. So they will go out of their way to be there for you. That's a circle 2. And you might talk to them less often. It might be, you know, a couple of times over the course of a month or a quarter. But you know that when you talk to them, it's like you're that priority and you just pick back up where you left off. So that's circle 2. Then you have circle 2 is usually like half a dozen to 1 or 2 dozen, like 6 to 24 people. It's still kind of intimate. And then you move out to circle 3, which is your more active network. And so these are people that you interact with and they have the 3 R's. So you respect them, right? You can vouch for their character. You feel that they're professionals in business. And so related to that, you would be comfortable recommending them and introducing them to others. And last but not least, your circle 3s are responsive to you. If you reach out to them, you'll hear back. If not right away, eventually, or you can follow up. But if you have to chase someone, if they're ghosting you, if you can't get in touch, they can't make any time for you, that would not be a circle 3.
Yeah.
So for most people, we have multiple dozens. It could be 100. It could be more in our circle 3 relationships. Then we have circle 4. So this is an interesting one. So these are the more distant connections, because the reality is over your course of life, there's a lot of people that you meet, but you don't stay in close touch with. Maybe you just don't have the time and bandwidth, and so you'll see them when you see them. Maybe you literally just met them, 1 or 2 interactions. Even if you like them, they haven't earned your trust to have that kind of instant inner circle access. That has to happen over multiple interactions, right? And through consistency. Or there could be a little bit of a values misalignment. You like them as a person, but they're not professional. They drop the ball. You don't really feel comfortable recommending them because you don't know if people have a good experience. Then there's just like a little bit of an arm's length distance between you and them. And then there's circle 5. So when we have lived multiple decades of life, there are people that have, done things where we're like, this is not a healthy relationship. Maybe they betrayed me. Maybe they never take personal responsibility. Maybe it's always chaos and they pull me into all this chaos. And it's like, I can wish them well and be kind and cordial, but it's not healthy for me to be in close connection.
With them,
So you put them in circle 5. And then circle 6 is everyone else out there in the world. And so I just...
That you don't have like contact
Yeah, you don't
with,
have contact with them. You haven't developed that personal relationship. And so when you're thinking about your rich relationships, I talk about this idea of creating a top 40 list. So 40, rather than being like, I need to make all these things happen with 1 or 2 people, you have 40 relationships that you can cultivate. It can include your most important team members. It can include your confidants, your promoters, your super connectors, your mentors, but peers, 40 relationships that really matter to you, that are connected to your goals and dreams. And at least 20 should be circle 1, 2, and 3, maybe even more, like 30. But the people that have already proven themselves to you, that they've earned your trust, they're responsive, you respect them, they're there for you. So that's going to be at least half, if not, more than half. And then you want to have some 4s and 6s, because when you want to build a dynamic network, it's not about only talking to the people you talk to all the time. Maybe you're looking to break into the US market. Maybe you have a new vision for your business. Maybe you're looking to write a book, something very different. And you're going to need to connect with people outside of your existing peer network. Yeah, to make that happen.
So to you that are listening to us, go back a minute and you got like advice from Selena Soo worth thousands of dollars. That's literally a good summary of a good portion of her book, and she gave you the key to unlock that value in that. And for that, your most recent book, if you can allow us to let us know where to find it.
Yeah, so the book is called Rich Relationships, Create a $1 Million Network for Your Business. And you can go on Amazon to get a copy. But additionally,
I got one.
You got one.
Early.
Yeah. You can also go to the website richrelationshipsbook.com and you can get the first 4 chapters for free. And as people were reading the book, they said, Selena, I really love your scripts, because a big part of creating and nurturing and activating rich relationships is the words that you say. And so the scripts were sprinkled throughout the book. And so what I did is I put all the scripts together in one place. So when you go to richrelationshipsbook.com, you'll get the first 4 chapters, and then you'll get all the rich relationship scripts for you.
Thank you for providing that value to real Puerto Rico members and all those that that listen to the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
In addition to that, you teach a concept in your book called breathtaking generosity.
Yes.
What are simple, authentic ways that leaders can practice this without feeling, transactional or like push or like, robotic?
Yeah.
How can we get there, especially with team members as well?
Yeah. So first, I want to talk about why this concept is so important, right? So breathtaking generosity is what it sounds like. Someone is so kind, so thoughtful that it takes your breath away. You don't even know what to do. You're like, wow, I can't believe how that person showed up for me. It really separates you from everybody else. And when I've done interviews with people saying, when you think about your rich relationship network, what are the qualities of the people that you're looking for? There's top 2. Number 1 is generous, people that will show up, people that will give, people that think of others, not just themselves. The second one was authenticity, that people don't want to feel like someone is putting on a show or putting on a mask. We've got the real person, and they're sharing, their fullness and their ups and downs and all of that. And so with generosity, there's 2 ways the easiest ways to be breathtakingly generous are to be a pain detective or a dream amplifier. And so when you're a pain detective, you are paying attention to the pain in the people around you. And if you were to say, well, Selena, I'm not a mind reader, how do I know that someone I know is in pain? There's a few categories to really kind of keep your eyes open for. So one is natural disasters, and many of us, we know people that have been significantly affected by things like hurricanes, by floods, by fires, right? And so someone is, maybe they lost their entire business. This is a moment where you can really show up and take initiative. I like to tell people, be the first to help and not the last to help. And we can all do that, but we have to be in ready position. So ready position for me means actually setting aside money to help people that you care about. And it could also be non-monetary. It could be services. It could be time. So like, let's say if you have $1 million business, maybe you're going to put 2% in your generosity fund. That would be $20,000. Or maybe it's a flat fee of $1,000 a month. But if there's people and they're posting, online, oh, my dad is dying of cancer and I've started a GoFundMe campaign, or my business was completely destroyed, I had to start from ground zero, or whatever it is, or my book is coming out, that you have money set aside to buy the books, to make the donation. And it doesn't have to be a large amount. It could be $50 here, $100 here, $200. But when people don't have to beg you, but you show up during the most important moment, they're going to be like, wow, like, I know a lot of people, I know thousands of people, but these 5 people showed up so generously, they're going to remember you forever, right? So we talked about natural disaster. Also relationships, as someone's going through divorce, maybe they have a sick parent
like we
or
talked
child.
earlier, like in my case,
Yes.
like I think that you had a little bit of breathtaking generosity with me, giving me that contact. So for someone that can help, like it's very obviously that,
Yeah, someone shares a pain, and like whether it's like I have a family member that's sick, or I'm going through a transition, it's like, oh, I know someone, let me,
That's a
connect
little
you,
bit of
or
it,
even you could say, let me gift you, a free session. So another area is financial stress. So a lot of business owners, even if they have good times, there's going to be a point where it's not a good time anymore. And so how can you show up and support people? So one of the things that I did was I bought sessions with my money coach, who is amazing. And when people I knew were going through times where maybe they had a divorce and they had to give up half their business to their partner and all these things, and just like, a lot of stress, or their business was doing badly, I was like, I'd love to, gift you a couple sessions with my money coach. And just to be clear, this is a gift. I don't need anything in return, but I want to support you because I needed that help when I've had my own ups and downs. And one of my favorite stories is someone came to me and she said, your coach, Jenna Rose, showed me how I can save $1,500 a month. And so that's times 12, that's $18,000 over a course of a year. That's a lot of money for people. And then even in 2 years, that's $36,000. So it's like, I spent like a couple $100, and that was a gift, but then it created an $18,000 transformation in someone's life, and it made our relationship richer, right? And so, you think about, if I put $200 in the stock market, I get a 7% return. I make $14, like, okay. But, I give the $200 to someone else during their time of need in a way that will help them. It creates $18,000 for them and a richer relationship for me. And when you consistently give and support people, like, I just think about, like, if someone refers one client to you, that could be $5,000, $10,000, $50,000, right? So not saying that we're doing it so that we see the financial return, but the reality is when you show up with generosity and kindness and love and care, that's going to come back to you. Might not be from the same person, but from somewhere else, and it's going to be even better.
It's interesting, that concept, especially with big organizations. At one time, I presided over an organization that was 600-ish employees.
Interesting, yeah.
And it was interesting because there was a single project that needed the input of one employee. And that employee couldn't be focused on that specific project. The project was worth probably $350 million. So
wow. Wow.
I had one person that I hired that she had history within the organization. She was in the later part of life.
Yes.
And I hired her to be, and I didn't know the term, but it was a pain detective.
The pain detective, yeah.
So I said, you know what? Just try to figure out what's going on. The whole issue, it was the holiday season, and she didn't have time to buy
Gifts.
presents to her only meaningful person in her life.
Yeah.
And her, obviously, she worked during the hours that it was open, then it was traffic. She didn't have, good transportation, etc. So, and that problem was solved. Basically, I said to this pain detective, you have time, go ask her for whatever she needs, go and
take care of it for her,
take
yeah.
care of it for her. It changed the whole thing. Then that pain point within
smart.
the organization disappeared completely for the other 3 years that I was heading that organization. So I never had a name for it. Pain detective and meaningful giving, I guess.
Pain detective, yeah.
That's a good one.
But it was, just sharing an experience here, as we know that sometimes the things that you don't think that's going to make a difference, they do make a real difference.
And then related to the pain detective, you also want to be the dream amplifier. So if there's someone that shares a big goal and dream, how can you help them get there faster? That's a way to really strengthen your rich relationships.
What does that metaphor of jumping on the train?
Oh, yeah,
means?
jumping on the train. Yeah, that's one of my favorite ideas. So when you think about someone that you're looking to connect with, right, someone that is busy, someone that is in high demand, they're like a bullet train, right? They're going full speed ahead, and they're going to their end destination. Now, the train will stop for a few moments to open the doors and let people on the train, but it's going to close and then it's going to go. And so when you think
in the
about
subway, New York.
So you're like, how do I get this person's attention? A lot of people try to pull the train off the tracks. Oh, here's my agenda. Go over there. It doesn't work. The train is going to go where it's going to go.
Yeah.
That's how we are as people. So instead of thinking, what's my agenda? Think about what's important to them. How can I support them? Because that's a great entry point to get on the train.
That's nice.
Very good.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think probably one of our last questions is what on small steps or listeners can take today to turn a nurturing, richer, more purposeful relationship?
Yeah. So the nurture piece is really important because you can build the rich relationships, you can know the people. But if you're not in touch with them and you're just circling back 3 years later for a big favor, it will feel transactional. And people want to do business with people that care about them and show up for them, right? It's also like, there's that trust that is built. And so you want to find different ways to stay in touch with people. And I know that it can feel very overwhelming when you have hundreds of maybe relationships that you're trying to manage. So I have 6 different strategies, but my top 2 would be, number 1, organize a gathering. So with a gathering, you're not just investing in one relationship at a time. It could be 5 relationships, 10 relationships, 20 relationships, or 100 relationships at one time. So there's that 10x plus factor. So that could look like, inviting people to your business anniversary party. It could be organizing a hike with other entrepreneurs, a beach day. It could be a movie night. It doesn't have to necessarily be about business, but literally just spending time with people and having them feel that you're important and I wanted to include you will really enhance your relationships. So to give you a fun example, so I had a book launch party in New York City for the Rich Relationships book, and I had about 100 people there. A lot of people had come in for another training event that I did, and then local New Yorkers. And I had some people that were located in places like, the Middle East, and Europe, who are my friends. And I was thinking, well, chances are that they might not hop on a plane to come to the party. And I didn't give them a ton of notice. But I reached out to them anyways. And I said, hey, I was just thinking of you because the book is launching in a couple of weeks. And I know it's probably a long shot, but I am having my, book launch party. And if you're able to make it, I would love to include you in it. And I would also love to send you a copy of the book. So that what's good about that is that even if they had to say no, but they're like cheering you on when you post your Instagram reel and your photos and all of that, and they see, oh, all these cool people there, they're like, oh yeah, she wanted me there too. I was a part of it.
I was part of it.
Even if people say no, it's actually a good idea to extend the invitation, right? And so with the gathering, maybe you have 40 people at the gathering, but you invited 100 people, you built goodwill with 100 people. right? So that's one strategy. And then the second strategy is pinging. And this is my favorite because it's just like small, meaningful touches. They typically take 30 seconds to 90 seconds. It could be, you're hanging out with some friends, some colleagues, some peers, and you take a picture, you send it to someone and say, hey, were your ears burning? We were just talking about how we miss you, How are things going with the business? How are things with the family? It could be you discovered a really great book and you're like, you know what, last time you talked about that you were struggling with this, I think you would like this book. I think you would like this podcast. And even if they don't read the book, they're like, wow, this person took time out of their day to share something with me. This makes me feel that I'm important to them, right? And so with pinging, with it only being 30 seconds, maybe you have 10 minutes between a work meeting. You scroll onto Instagram, you see what's going on with someone or Facebook, and then you send them a voice note.
Yeah.
You can absolutely, comment on posts, but I think when you do a direct one-to-one outreach, it feels different and more special. It really
personal.
strengthens the relationship.
Definitely.
So those would be my top two.
Nice.
Perfect. Selena, thank you for reminding us that success isn't just about strategy.
Yeah.
It's about generosity, trust, and human connection.
Esta conversación con Selena Soo nos inspira y fortalece nuestras redes, invertir en relaciones reales, liderar con propósito. Ahora pasamos al impacto local, como nuestra comunidad de Yo Puerto Rico impulsa este proyecto, amplifica su voz a través de Impact Drivers.
Thank you, Selena. Great conversation. Let's continue it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then if people want to learn more, they can go to richrelationshipsbook.com to get the first 4 chapters of the book totally for free. They'll also get my rich relationship tips and over 20 rich relationship scripts.
Do it, it's worth it. I did it.
Saludos a todos. Hoy nos encontramos aquí hoy con Brian García, el ganador de la competencia de Puerto Rico de GSEA en el 2023. Brian, saludos.
Huepa, Pedro.
Huepa, el famoso huepa. Oye, eso siempre me encanta escucharlo.
Te cala.
¿Tú sabes por qué? Porque Brian fue no tan solo un ganador, pero un ganador de esos que se siente. Porque él siempre venía con mucha emoción, mucha energía. Y eso lo vimos, lo presentábamos en los Forum Series de GSEA, donde iba, practicaba el pitch. Y todo el mundo salía, pero ¿de dónde salió este muchacho?
La
Esa
personalidad.
energía, ese drive que tiene. Y salían energizados para ir a sus negocios y a implementar.
Qué bueno.
Anyway, Brian, cuéntanos, ¿qué ha pasado con tu vida luego de, verdad, haber ganado GSEA Puerto Rico, haber ido a la competencia regional de Latinoamérica y haber cualificado he ido a la final de Global en África del Sur, representando a Puerto Rico, como un student entrepreneur? Así que ponnos al día dónde está y qué significó GSEA para tu vida.
So, en ese proceso de competencia, ¿verdad? Todo el support que ustedes me dieron desde cómo preparar el pitch, cómo vestirme, cómo pararme al frente, fue algo que me ayudó no solamente en la competencia que tuve la oportunidad de participar en México, pero definitivamente todo el coaching que recibí de cara a llegar a África del Sur, que verdaderamente era la competencia más importante, y sobre todo pues participar en el programa de Start It Up, que fue un programa súper exitoso, donde está en YouTube y tiene miles de reproducciones.
Para la historia.
Para la historia, ¿verdad? Y además la experiencia no solamente de participar en el programa, sino de conocer a otros jóvenes empresarios, tanto en México, que tuve la oportunidad de conocer a múltiples, pero también en África del Sur, que pude ver a lo largo del mundo, ¿verdad? Porque estaban compitiendo todas las regiones que estaban participando. Y definitivamente todo ese coaching lo puse en práctica luego de haber salido de la competencia en África del Sur, sino que pude aplicarlo a otros programas empresariales que pude participar en la isla, y gracias a ese public speaking pues pude conseguir, por ejemplo, ganar el premio de la Fundación de Bravo Family Foundation, que fueron $50,000 por Orlando Bravo.
O sea, monetizaste.
Monetizando, hay que
Perfecto.
sacarle provecho a todo. Y sin la ayuda que ustedes me brindaron, definitivamente eso no hubiera sido posible, y es algo que aplico en todos los días.
Oye, nosotros también te tenemos que dar gracias y te debo ahora, porque ciertamente tu dedicación y la manera en que aplicaste todo lo que se discutió y lo que te tratamos de transmitir te ayudó en eso, y hasta fue tan y tan bueno que al día de hoy, en las promociones de GSEA a nivel global, todavía sale la cara de Brian con 2 años. No, y sale él ahí en la portada del libro.
Importante.
Así que muchas gracias por tu dedicación.
Pues mira, Brian, yo quisiera saber qué es lo próximo para ti, y verdad, y si nos das unas palabritas para recomendar este programa a otros jóvenes, ¿verdad? Emprendedores o que quieren emprender.
Por lo menos en cuanto al ámbito profesional, pues nosotros ya pasamos de un enfoque en tecnología y nos estamos enfocando en lo que es la manufactura avanzada con la robótica y todos estos temas de la industria 5.0, que es el futuro que pensamos que está lejos, pero la realidad es que está bien
Ahí.
cerca. Y la realidad es que cualquier joven que esté pensando, ¿verdad? Tanto aplicar a GSCA o simplemente tenga una idea de negocio, lo que siempre aconsejo, lánzate, no lo pienses 2 veces, no importa lo que te diga tu amigo, tu mamá, tu papá, si verdaderamente tú quieres hacerlo, hazlo, porque eres joven y es la mejor forma de emprender ahora. Cuando uno es joven, you can fail fast y así aprende de lo que fallaste y poder aplicarlo a futuros emprendimientos, que fue mi historia, que he fallado muchísimas veces, pero no me he dado por vencido, he seguido y aquí estoy donde estoy ahora mismo.
¿Y qué hay próximo? ¿Qué vemos? ¿Qué vamos a ver de Brian ahora?
Definitivamente Brian va a seguir en su faceta como empresario, pero esta área de robótica pues es algo que me voy a estar desarrollando, todo lo que tiene que ver con la automatización, CNC, visión, inteligencia artificial y entonces cómo nosotros mezclamos los humanos con la inteligencia artificial
AI.
para bregar con la robótica.
Perfecto.
Perfect.
No puedo esperar
Qué
a seguir
emoción, de
viendo
verdad que sí.
¿verdad? Tus logros y tus victorias y a la misma vez de nosotros acá en EO Puerto Rico sentirnos también orgullosos de que añadimos algo de valor a ti
Un
y a
granito.
tu propuesta y tus proyectos futuros, que necesitamos mucho de esto, mi gente. Más puertorriqueños, gente joven, poniendo su granito de arena en el mundo. Y no tan solo eso, nos cuesta a nosotros como miembros de EO muy poco apoyar este tipo de iniciativas
Correcto.
y este tipo de emprendedores. Así que les exhorto a que coordinen con la Junta, con Azalea García, nuestra chair de GSCA, para que les explique y a aquellos estudiantes que estén interesados en esto, que ciertamente que vayan a GSCA, Global Student Entrepreneur Awards, en la página de EO y allí podrán localizar la información de cómo contactarnos o se comunique con el capítulo de Puerto Rico de Entrepreneurs Organization. Muchas gracias.
Gracias, Brian.
Gracias a ustedes por la
Gracias,
oportunidad.
Muchas bendiciones.
Adelante. Tenemos a Nicolás Novoa y Laura Alicea. Nicolás es nuestro ganador, el ganador del capítulo de Puerto Rico del Global Student Entrepreneurship Award para la edición 2025. Nicolás, cuéntanos en unas palabras cómo te sientes de haber sido seleccionado como el ganador y el campeón de Puerto Rico de GSCA, que nos va a representar en Panamá en febrero del 2026.
Bueno, pues me siento honrado y bien agradecido a mi familia, a mi compañera y a todos esos momentos en la vida que me han llevado a donde estoy aquí hoy, a todos estos programas empresariales que me han ayudado a continuar desarrollándome y poder pararme allí hoy en la tarima y dar pues, la presentación necesaria pues, para poder ganar y representar a Puerto Rico.
Pues tremendo, Nicolás, te felicitamos porque
Gracias.
sabemos que estar en esa posición haciendo un pitch ante numerosas personas que uno no conoce sobre tu negocio, no necesariamente es lo más fácil, pero nuevamente desarrollaste las estrategias y las herramientas para lograr prevalecer a través del programa y la alianza que tiene yo con Guayacán para correr el programa de GSCA, donde pues te dieron coaching sobre finanzas, sobre presentación y estilo de presentación y otros temas. Y esos pasados 5 meses, cuéntame cómo han sido.
Pues han sido rigurosos, intensos. Nosotros somos estudiantes de Mayagüez, así que estamos todos los fines de semana bajando a San Juan a ser parte del programa, pero bien complicado decir que no y no estar ahí presente porque los recursos que ellos te ofrecen nos han llevado a niveles que no pensábamos que podíamos llegar, así que siempre hay que decir que sí, siempre hay que estar presente. Aparte de eso, pues bien intenso, bien intenso.
Bueno, pues lo que te tengo que decir es que esto apenas comienza. Porque ya como ganador, ahora tú pasas a la segunda etapa de que, ¿verdad? Que es lo que le llamamos el coaching o el entrenamiento para que tú representes al capítulo de IO Puerto Rico en Panamá, en la regional de GSCA. Para que tengas idea, todos los capítulos de cada país enviarán, ¿verdad? Que llevan a cabo competencia, enviarán un competidor, el ganador, a Panamá en febrero del 2026 y allí se seleccionarán aquellos que pasan a la fase global o la competencia global de GSCA. Vas a encontrar tremendos amigos, porque lo que ocurre aquí es, dentro de los valores que tenemos en EO, vas a formar parte de un foro de ganadores de GSEA, de los diferentes capítulos. Y vas a hacer amistades y vas a hacer conexiones que te las vas a llevar por toda la vida. Y no tan solo eso. También, como parte de lo que EO Puerto Rico y sus miembros te van a brindar, te vamos a brindar coaching sessions y vas a poder también participar de lo que le llamamos los EO GSEA Winner Pitch Forum Series, donde los foros, o sea, grupos de emprendedores que son miembros de EO, que ellos se dividen en foros y hacen estas reuniones, donde allí se habla de todo. Y no tan solo eso, se busca crecer como empresario. Tú vas a tener la oportunidad de a varios de ellos darle tu pitch y recibir la retroalimentación o el feedback de ellos. Y eso lo que hemos realizado en los pasados años con otros ganadores como tú, hemos visto cómo han transformado su negocio, su vida y su pitch antes y después de pasar por esto. ¿Por qué? Vas a estar interaccionando con emprendedores como tú, ya un poquito más entrados en edad, los cuales se van a llevar mucho de la experiencia tuya, porque los hace recordar de dónde ellos comenzaron, cómo lo hicieron, cuáles fueron esas dificultades, a dónde han llegado y los hace valorar. Y tú te vas a llevar también conexiones, networking, crecimiento, de cómo llevar tu negocio a la próxima etapa, que es lo que nosotros al fin del día queremos ver, que jóvenes empresarios determinados en su etapa estudiantil aún y ya están pensando y realizando y montando, ¿verdad? Como decimos acá en PR, negocios, cómo los podemos apoyar a que lleguen al próximo nivel y que lleguen de una manera más fácil de lo que se nos hizo a nosotros. Así que tengo que felicitarte y no tan solo eso. Uno de los valores de IO es Together We Grow. Así que, por supuesto, Laura es parte integral como tu socia en este emprendimiento de Riva. Y ahora quiero que me hables un poquito más de Riva, pero le voy a preguntar a Laura. Laura, cuéntame un poquito de Riva.
¿Quieres saber cómo surgió o qué hacemos como empresa?
Ambas.
Ok, pues Riva surge de una necesidad personal. Yo siempre he sido una persona bastante eco-conscious, así que soy una persona que mientras me doy ducha o hago hábitos diarios en casa, pues sentía ese sentimiento de guilt. Además, mis padres siempre me educaron con ese valor de tratar de ahorrar agua lo más posible. Y pues notaba cómo el ahorrar agua significaba a veces sacrificar lo que es como la eficiencia o el comfort de lo que es darse una buena ducha o, tú sabes, hacer las cosas de las rutinas diarias. Así que de ahí establecimos una conversación y surgió la idea de cómo podemos resolver este problema para diferentes personas, específicamente aquellos que viven con reservas de aguas limitadas. Así que estamos desarrollando una tecnología para hacer que esta agua fresca pueda ser utilizada varias veces y así extender el uso de la misma.
Excelente. ¿Y dónde está Riva hoy? Cuéntame.
Pues ahora mismo estamos en etapa de desarrollar el prototipo. Conectamos con la Universidad de Georgia Tech, donde un grupo de estudiantes hemos estado durante las últimas ya varias semanas, desde agosto, reuniéndonos con ellos y llevándolos hacia donde queremos que lleven esta tecnología.
Ok. Y cuéntame un poquito más de esa colaboración que ustedes están haciendo con Georgia Tech, porque entiendo que no es algo que se da de ordinario. Me parece que, por lo que escuché por ahí, que era algo bastante único, que es un hito en el desarrollo de Riva y tuyo y de ustedes. Cuéntame un poquito más de esa colaboración.
Pues ahí es donde viene lo que estamos hablando de las conexiones y lo importante que es conectar con gente que está emprendiendo o buscan conectar. Y durante la experiencia que hemos tenido en los programas como iCorps y Fase 1, aprendimos el valor de conectar con todas estas personas. Y en Enterprise, pues tuvimos la oportunidad de recibir un taller de una persona de la facultad de Georgia Tech y ella escuchó pues la situación en la que estábamos, que era pues desarrollar el prototipo y cómo conseguíamos los recursos. Y ella pues ahí nos introduce a lo que es el Capstone Design Program en Georgia Tech, donde pues los estudiantes tienen la oportunidad de colaborar con una empresa y pues desarrollarle la tecnología que ellos deseen. Y pues de aquí pues surge esa oportunidad.
¿Y esa colaboración tiene un costo para arriba? Sí. ¿Cuánto?
Sí. Contesto yo. Ok, esa colaboración puede ser tanto gratuita, si tú quieres que lo que se cree en la universidad tenga también participación en la propiedad intelectual, la universidad tenga participación en lo que se cree. Pero si tú quieres tener derecho sobre toda esa propiedad, tú tienes que pagar una donación de $10,000. Y eso es lo que estamos haciendo para que Riva pueda tener derecho sobre lo que se cree.
O sea, que ustedes se han tirado de pecho ante lo que ustedes han desarrollado y su idea y han ya recopilado esos $10,000, levantaron esos $10,000, o sea, levantaron capital, que es uno de los retos principales para un startup, y lo están poniendo en acción.
Eso es así.
Correcto.
Y tú me estás diciendo, o sea, 2 estudiantes de menos de 30 años del RUM de Mayagüez están dando cátedra en lo que es un startup y dando los primeros pasos en esa dirección para tener un prototipo que puedan comercializar. Ahora, cuéntame, ¿qué es lo que Riva quiere hacer con ese prototipo y qué es el prototipo para que podamos todos entender?
Bueno, cuando terminemos el prototipo, inicialmente pues hay que testear y preparar ese producto para poder comercializarlo, y la meta es llevarlo a la comunidad de casas móviles, ya que estas personas sufren de reservas de agua limitadas. Y nuestro producto pues podría extender la vida útil del agua y por ende las reservas de agua.
¿Y me puedes explicar brevemente qué es lo que hace?
Sí.
Porque ya vimos que había una queja de que se tardaba mucho bañando, se creó una conciencia y esa conciencia termina en este producto. Ahora, explícame, ¿qué es exactamente?
Bueno, pues usualmente cuando te bañas, hay mucha agua que esencialmente o no te toca, o cuando ya estás limpio, pues te toca un segundo y ya se desperdicia. Pues nuestro sistema analiza la calidad del agua, establece unos parámetros y determina qué agua se puede filtrar. Esa agua que cumple con esos parámetros, luego de ese análisis, se redirige hacia nuestro sistema, donde se filtra y se prepara pues, para poder ser reutilizada en cualquier tarea que usted desee en el lugar.
¿Excepto agua potable o incluye eso también?
Exacto, excepto tomar agua.
Excepto agua potable, perfecto. Pues, oye, esto es un game changer, como le llamamos.
Sí.
Así que no estamos partiendo de una idea que estamos reciclando. Ustedes literalmente han visto una necesidad desde aquí de la islita 100 por 35 para algo que curiosamente no es típico ver RVs en Puerto Rico. Aquí uno se monta, está en la playa en menos de 10 minutos y la pasó bien. Pero el hecho de que ustedes hayan podido identificar esa industria como un target, cuéntame un poco más de ese proceso. ¿Cómo lo hicieron? ¿Cuál ha sido la retroalimentación o ¿verdad? Lo que han recibido de miembros de esa industria?
Sí, es correcto. La idea cuando surge al inicio, pues viene de necesidades que hay aquí en la isla, el tener pues facturas de aguas que son bien elevadas, eventos como Huracán María, donde nos vimos limitados a la cantidad de agua que tenemos. Pues de aquí nace la idea y luego a través de iCorps, que pues tuvimos la oportunidad de hacer entrevistas y conocer diferentes mercados, pues inicialmente nos queríamos dirigir a lo que serían pues los hogares normales, apartamentos, pero nos dimos cuenta que había una etapa de educación para estos consumidores y luego encontramos esta necesidad en lo que es el mercado de las casas móviles y vimos que pues, para que ellos adquieran esta tecnología pues hay una demanda más evidente y por eso pues nos dirigimos aquí.
Tremendo. Y ya estando ¿verdad? En este emprendimiento, más o menos un año, un poquito más, ¿qué harías diferente?
¿Qué haría diferente?
No me digas tener menos socios porque te metes en lío aquí.
No. Genuinamente, yo creo que... Ya la pregunta le tengo que dar un poquito de cabeza. No cambiaría muchas cosas de las que he hecho porque sí siento que he sido una persona que ha tomado todos estos retos y cosas en las que me he enfrentado desarrollando este negocio. Y lo hemos podido lograr, pero ahora mismo no se me ocurre qué exactamente cambiaría de todo este trayecto.
¿Tú sabes qué es lo bueno? Que vas a tener tiempo para pensar en eso. Porque parte de lo que te vamos a transmitir en EO es que uno tiene que reevaluar su negocio periódicamente. Correcto. Para estar claro en cuándo hay que pivot y cuándo hay que mejorarlo. Y esos son elementos, ¿verdad? Que los emprendedores, especialmente los fundadores, pues siempre estamos evaluando para tratar de mantener un negocio que sea vigente. En este caso, me parece fantástico por donde va. Estamos todos muy contentos con tu presentación, por lo menos así lo hicieron ver los jueces, que te eligieron como el ganador del capítulo de Puerto Rico de GSEA este año 2025. Y vamos, como boricuas, pues todos estamos apostando al éxito de ustedes y que ustedes como una generación más joven nos sigan representando y poniéndonos en verdad el puntito en el mapa mundial de que en Puerto Rico se pueden hacer cosas de calidad, cosas buenas y cosas que transforman vida. Así que te tengo que felicitar en eso.
Gracias. Y así será, estoy muy emocionado de representar arriba, todo el trabajo que hemos hecho y representar a la isla, y por lo que he escuchado y lo que he aprendido sobre el programa, pues hacer todas estas conexiones y seguir colaborando con toda esta comunidad empresarial a través del mundo, pues va a ser una experiencia muy única y especial.
Bueno, yo lo que te puedo decir es que yo no quiero estar en tus zapatos, porque la presión es grande. Aquí tienes más de 100 emprendedores, miembros de IO, que están rooting for you, para que no tan solo al llegar a Panamá hagas un buen papel, sino que seas uno de los seleccionados para ir a la final en el verano del 2026 a África del Sur. Por supuesto, esto lo cubre la organización, así que eso es parte de tu premio. Vas a lograr ir a Panamá, conectar con otros empresarios y otros estudiantes empresarios y Dios mediante, si todo sale bien, pasar entonces a África del Sur. Eso también nos trae, ¿verdad?, para acá a los que nos sintonizan, la importancia del apoyo de los miembros de IO y de terceros o SAPs para el programa de GSCA. Así que comuníquense con Azalia García, que Azalia tiene todos los detalles en cómo pueden colaborar. Ahora pasamos a la etapa de coaching, así que los foros de IO que no se hayan anotado para el Forum Coaching Series, los exhorto, toma 30 minutos al principio de cada foro, y eso les va a transformar el foro. Y pregúntenselo a los que lo han hecho, porque la experiencia es única. Él se va a llevar mucho valor, ustedes se van a llevar una experiencia única y mucho valor también como miembros y para la discusión del foro. Así que te felicito, muchas gracias. Gracias a ti también, Laura, por estar apoyándolo en esa gestión y te deseo mucho, mucho éxito.
Gracias.
Gracias.